to our today's episode of The Bible Meets Psychology. My name is Counselor Eliud Goge. I am a counseling psychologist certified by KCPA. Last week, I introduced a discussion that we'll be doing every Wednesday, and I called it The Bible Meets Psychology. I already did the introduction part of it, so if you've not watched the introduction part of this discussion, you'd like to go back and watch it. It's the previous video that I uploaded last week. And therefore, in our today's discussion, we will be looking at certain approaches that are being taken by religious leaders to brainwash and manipulate their believers. And this is what we are calling manipulation and brainwashing by the men and women of God, who some of you follow closely. We have seen this happening a lot these days, where certain religious leaders are manipulating and brainwashing their followers to an extent where somebody is killing and abandoning their close friends, their family, those people who are close to them. We call them their loved ones. How does it get there? And why are some of the religious leaders doing that? Why should someone turn you against your own family, your own siblings, your own children, so that they can control you to do whatever that they want for their own gain? So how do they do it? And how can you know that it is happening to you? And now, in a nutshell, brainwashing is a process of replacing somebody or someone's beliefs and perspectives, and then replacing them with new ideas, new perspectives, and new beliefs. So to be brainwashed means that those things that you believe in, those perspectives that you hold, the things that you hold dear to you, the things that are of value to you, all that is changed. And then you are given a new perspective. You are given a new kind of life where you believe different things, and the things that you used to believe in, you no longer believe in them. The things that you used to do, you no longer do them. And then somebody starts to control you so that you can do everything they want and the way they want it done. Converting or conversion, you've heard majority of them you saying that we are going to convert followers, or we are going to convert non-believers to become believers. So conversion is the baptismal name of brainwashing. So when you hear somebody saying that they are going to convert non-believers, what they are saying is exactly that they are going to brainwash somebody so that that person can start believing in their doctrine and in their faith and in their way of doing things. And therefore, these days they are not using brainwashing, because when they say brainwashing, and the majority of us know that it's a negative word, they are going to use a sweet name that they call converting, so that you don't know that exactly what they are doing is brainwashing you. And therefore, for brainwashing to happen, somebody must put you in a state where they can be able to control what you are thinking, so that they can control your behavior. There are two types of brainwashing. There's one which somebody is going to brainwash you, and there's the one which you can brainwash yourself. Yes, you can brainwash yourself. For example, when you start saying that you must pray every morning, and if you don't pray, you punish yourself. When you start telling yourself that I must fast every month, and if you don't fast, you punish yourself. When you start telling yourself that I must get 10% or give 10% every month, and if you don't, watu wengine unapata hata afadhali akope pesa ndio apeleke 10% kwa kanisa, because you believe that something bad is going to happen to you if you don't do that. That is self-brainwashing. You are brainwashing yourself, because you are putting yourself in a position where you have compromised your thinking, and therefore you are conditioning yourself to do something. And the reason why you are doing that is because you are afraid of the consequences, which in most cases you are afraid that you go to hell and not go to heaven. We'll get to that point. So that is basically how you can brainwash yourself. You put some standards and principles that align with religion, in most cases based on what you are being told by your religious leaders, and when you do that, you start brainwashing yourself. Now, there are two different groups in these days which are most known to brainwash. The first one is a cult. A cult usually brainwash. Their approach is to brainwash. For you to join a certain cult, for you to start believing the things that they believe in, for you to start doing the things that they do, they must brainwash you. They must wash away your morals or your beliefs or your perspectives and viewpoints about life, your morality, and everything else that you hold dear to yourself. They must wash away that. So that with that state of a clean mind, they can now start feeding in information. And the information that they are going to feed in is the information that they want you to believe in. And at that state, you have no otherwise other than to believe that. Religion also usually do brainwash. But religion is using a much similar but easier approach to brainwash. Because what religion is doing is to put conditions and certain rules that align to fear and beliefs that Christians or believers usually have. For example, everybody, when we were growing up, everybody was being told that there's heaven and there's hell. And we were all being told that we should do everything possible to go to heaven and not to go to hell. So now, because everybody is afraid of going to hell and everybody wants to go to heaven, that's a reward that everybody is looking forward to, the religious leaders are going to revolve around that, to put in conditions to tell you what it takes to go to heaven. And because that's something that you want, you don't want to go to burn to the eternal fire. You want to go and enjoy the eternal life that you have in heaven. So they will put conditions that they are going to tell you, to go to heaven, you must do this. To go to heaven, you must give 10% every month. To go to heaven, you must come for service every Sunday. You must come for fellowship every Saturday. You must go for whatever meetings every day, every Wednesday, every whatever. Those are some of the things that they are going to do. And then by the end of it all, they are going to instill fear in you. They are going to tell you that if you don't do those things that they are telling you to do, you will go to hell. That if you go against what they are telling you, you are going against God. And going against God means that you will go to hell. And that's something that you don't want. And therefore, you are going to do everything that they are telling you to do so that you can make sure that you go to heaven. And that's what we call brainwashing. What they do, they are going to read the Bible, and then they are going to interpret it in their own way. They are going to interpret it in alignment with those things that they want you to do. So that now, everything that they do is aligned or inclined towards making you believe certain things which are true, but they are only true because they are telling you that they are true, not because in real sense they are true. To wind up on this, so that we can look at how you can know that you are being brainwashed, let me tell you something. Brainwashing works in most cases when they talk about religion, when you are in a state of compromised thinking. You have heard people tell you that when you are happy, when you are too happy or excited, you should not promise something or make a decision. And again, when you are too angry or too mad at somebody, you should not make a choice or a decision. When you are too excited or when you are too angry, you are in a state where your thinking is compromised. You are in a state where your mind cannot think logically or rationally. And now, fear is a weapon or a tool that the religious leaders are using so that they can be able to manipulate and brainwash followers. Because when they start instilling fear in you, they tell you that if you don't do this, you are going to hell. If you don't do this, you are going against God. If you are doing this, you are doing that, and this is going to happen to you. You're going to lose your job. God is not going to bless you. You are going to fail in life. When they instill that fear in you, you feel that it's your responsibility to do everything that they are telling you so that you cannot face the consequences of the things that they are telling you not to do. And that is brainwashing. Now, let us briefly look at a few key areas or a few key points that you can be able to single out to know that you are being brainwashed. Now, the first thing that somebody is going to do to start brainwashing you is to isolate you from the rest of the world. They will not only isolate you physically, they will even isolate you emotionally and psychologically. These are somebody or the religious leaders who start telling you that you need to start spending more time of the day in church and not in your personal or family business or other activities. They will tell you that you have to come to church every day in the morning, you must come to church every day in the evening, you must come to church for fellowship, for meetings, for praise and worship, on Sunday you must stay in the church for hours. So they are going to isolate you from your real life or from those people that you love, from those people who are close to you, and then they are going to get you out of that. So that now, whatever that they are going to teach you, there is nobody to challenge whatever they are telling you. There's nobody around you to tell you, hey, we're goja. Unaona venye wanakuambia, hiyo si vizuri. That thing is misleading you, or whatever they are telling you is wrong. So they are going to try and spend, so that you can spend more time in church activities or religious activities for that matter, so that you can have little time to think on what they are doing, so that you can have less time to meditate and even think logically on what they are telling you to do. So they don't want your family around you because they know that your family is going to realize that you are being manipulated, or that person or that religious leader is brainwashing you. So they'll try their level best to fix meetings, to fix outreach programs, to fix so many programs for the church so that you can be too much engaged and you have no time to spend by yourself or with your family. So the first thing that they are going to do is to isolate you from your family and from your loved ones, from your friend, from what you usually do every day, so that they can be the only ones feeding you with information, so they can put you in an environment where there's nobody else challenging whatever that the information that they are feeding you or whatever things that they are telling you. That's the first thing. The second way that you can know that you are being brainwashed is when there are certain rules and doctrines that are supposed to be followed in that religious group, and nobody whatsoever is allowed to challenge or give their opinion about the same. You are just given rules, you are just given things to follow, guidelines, and you are not supposed to give your opinion. You are not supposed to challenge. They give you scriptures that you are not supposed to give your opinion about. You are supposed to believe it the way they are telling it to you, and you are not supposed to question no matter what. That is a sign of somebody who is brainwashing you. When you are given certain way of behavior, or when you are given certain rules that are supposed to be followed without questioning, without opinions, that means that that person is brainwashing you. You are being brainwashed. In normal settings, in a religious group, you are supposed to have a say on what you are supposed to do as a believer or as a follower. You are supposed to have an opinion on how matters should be handled in that religious group. You are supposed, your input and your opinion should be considered because those things affect you as an individual. And therefore, if you find yourself in a religious group that does not allow you to give opinions, that does not allow you to challenge the things that they come up with, to challenge their rules, to challenge their way of worship, to challenge the majority of the things that the practice itself, then you are being brainwashed. Because they don't want you to come in with your ideas. They want you to follow whatever that they are saying. That is the second way that you can know that somebody is manipulating you and they want to brainwash you. You should have a say in whatever religion that you are in. You should have an opinion. There should be a discussion about how things should be handled, about how, as believers, you should be associating and how you should be doing things. If you're not given room to challenge or give an opinion, you are being brainwashed. The third way that you can know that you are being brainwashed is when there are consequences of challenging or not doing whatever you have been told to do. When you challenge or when you go against the status quo of the religious group, there are consequences. That means that you are being brainwashed. There are some religious groups where you find that you are told if you don't give a certain amount of money as an offering or to receive some blessings or some miracles, then you will either be excommunicated from the church, or you hear that those people who are not giving 10%, they will not be receiving some services in the church. You will only receive certain services if you meet certain conditions. Why should there be conditions to be met for you to be blessed? Why should there be conditions to be met for the preacher or for the religious leader to pray for you or to bless you? Why should there be conditions? This is salvation. It should be given freely. Why are you charging me for praying for me? Why are you charging me or why are you excommunicating me simply because sijatoa 1000 yenye nafaa kutoa ya offering ama sijatoa ile 1000 nafaa kutoa ya 10%? Unasikia wakisema kwa church zingine hakuna kutoa less than 1000 kwa offering ama hakuna kuleta coins kwa offering, and when you do that you are excommunicated. Some services are you are not able to access some of the services. That is being brainwashed, my friend. Because if you are there as a servant, you are supposed to serve me unconditionally. You should appreciate the little that I bring on the table. Remember, Jesus at one point praised a widow who offered, I think, 2 cents, and then condemned another rich guy who offered a lot of money. Because the guy who offered a lot of money alikuwa anatoa hiyo pesa yote ndio zionekane, ndio akuwe praised. But the widow alipeana the 2 cents because that's the only thing that she had, and she was blessed for it. And therefore the question is, for those priests, for those pastors, for those religious leaders who are demanding that you must give a certain amount, you must give a certain amount of money for you to be allowed to access certain services, what are they doing? They are going against what religion is all about. Because we should be accepted for who we are in our capacity, but not with rules that for you to do this, you must do this. And therefore, if you find that your religion, there are rules to be followed, and if you don't follow them, there are harsh consequences, then that is a religion that is trying to brainwash you, and therefore you need to be careful. The fourth thing that you can know that you are being brainwashed is when you are made to believe that non-believers are your enemies and that you should not associate with them whatsoever. That is being brainwashed. Religion is for everybody. Jesus is for everybody. And whether somebody believes in God or Jesus or not, you should not be prevented from associating with them. You should not be prevented from helping them, because the Bible advocates for neighborness. The Bible advocates for us to take care of our neighbors, whether they are believers or not. I know some of them will tell you that the Bible says that you should not be unequally yoked. That's true. But again, the Bible tells you that you need to help everybody. You need to help your neighbors, whether they believe or not. When they are in need, you go and help them. Because the greatest is love. Nothing else. It doesn't matter whether somebody is a believer or not. You go to help them when they need you. And therefore, if your religious leaders are telling you that non-believers are evil, they are sinners, you should not associate with them, they are unclean, those are people who are trying to brainwash you. Because you should be loving to everybody. You should, as a Christian, as a religious person, as a believer, you should be able to love everybody unconditionally if you are following the true religion. And therefore, anybody telling you that non-believers are your enemies and that you should not associate with them, if they tell you that you should only associate with a given group of people, they are brainwashing you, my friend. You need to run away. Because what they are trying to do is to condition you that you must behave and interact with a certain group of people and reject others. And that is not true religion. The second last thing that you can know that you are being brainwashed is when you realize that you have lost a true sense of yourself or a true sense of your personality as an individual. When you realize that the things that you used to hold dear to you, they are no longer valuable. When you realize that the things that you used to like doing, you are no longer doing them. And when you realize that you as an individual, you are not regarding yourself with high dignity as you should or as you used to. And the only person or the only things that you are doing are things related to the religion, but not things that are related to you as an individual. When you lose your values, when you lose your morals, when you realize that you are no longer having time for your family, you are no longer having time to meet with your friends, you are no longer having time to go to do your studies, you are no longer have time to be free, then you are losing a true sense of yourself. And therefore, you are being brainwashed. You're going to lose your true sense, you're going to lose yourself, and at the end of it all, that person is going to control you the way they want. And lastly, one thing that I can tell you is that that particular religion, which demands that you spend more time in church things than in your personal life, they are brainwashing you. When you realize that church or your religion has become the center of everything that you do. If you have to talk, you have to talk about your church. If you have to do anything, you are doing it in the name of your religion. That religion is brainwashing you. When you realize that everything that is revolving around you is all about that religion. Everything that you are doing for the sake of that religion. Everything that you are doing, everything that you are saying, everything that you are thinking in line with that religion. You are being brainwashed. Because as an individual, you should be able to grow in all areas of your life. Socially, spiritually, you should be allowed to grow as a rounded person, as a whole. And therefore, if you find yourself being demanded to spend much more time in the religious group than in other areas, just to know that you are being brainwashed. My friend, there are certain ways and those are some of the ways that you can know that you are being brainwashed. And when you realize that these things are happening, you need to run away from that religion as soon as possible. We should have freedom of worship. We should have freedom to do whatever that we want as believers. You should not, as a religious leader, come and feed me with information which I'm not supposed to challenge, which I'm not supposed to question, and tell me those are the things that I'm supposed to do. That is not right. That is not true religion. That is brainwashing. And you should be careful. You should be cautious. Anybody subjecting you to that kind of an environment, you need to reject them. You need to run away from them because they are about to destroy and ruin your life. My friends, brainwashing is real, and sometimes the people who are being brainwashed, they may not know that it's happening. Some of them will even be overprotective about their gurus, about their religious leaders, about their prophets, because they have already been brainwashed and they are not aware. And they are, when you try to tell them that they are being brainwashed or whatever that's happening to them is wrong, they'll try to challenge that, and you cannot be able to change their mind. Why? Because those religious leaders are brainwashing them, or they have successfully brainwashed them. Somebody in that state needs your help, and you need to help that person. My friends, let me tell you something. There should be no manipulation or coercion when it comes to believing. You should be able to give as much or as little as you can when it comes to offering. And when you fail to give or to meet the demands, nobody should punish you for it, because you are doing it willingly. You are giving from your heart. And therefore, anybody who is demanding otherwise is manipulating you because they want to gain something out of it. That is why believers are becoming poorer, while prophets and men of God are becoming richer. The question is, why should I ask you to pay 10,000 so that I can pray for you? Why don't I pray for you for free? And then I pray for myself to get the 10,000 that I'm asking from you. Why should you pay for me to give you blessings? Why am I taking that money? Why can't I also pray so that God can give me the money that I want? And that's what they are doing. The other day, we saw a clip or a video where a certain pastor was telling people to lift their phones and then, search the network, and they are going to receive 300,000 from that. My friend, 300,000 ya mpesa unatoa wapi? Biguni hakuna bank. In heaven there is no money. There is no money. There is nobody who is, unless a mad person who is just going to send you 300,000, or you have done nothing, or you have not worked for it. That is manipulation. They want you to believe that you can get everything that you want in the church. They want you to believe that all the things that you want in this life can be received, or you can receive them by praying, which is not true, but we will be discussing that much later on. They want you to believe that you can get everything that you want in this life by praying or by giving offerings, which is not true. It's not true. They want to show you that you can get money by going to church. They want to tell you that you can get a car by going to church. They want to show you that, to tell you that you can get a spouse by going to church, which is not true. My friends, you need to run away from such religions because they are going to ruin and destroy your life. I believe that with that insight, with that information, you have gained some insight on somebody who might be trying to brainwash you. And you need to watch out and be careful. Because if you follow religion blindly, that's the end of you. If you read the word of God, if you read the Bible without applying reasoning, that is also the end of you. And therefore, my people, you need to be careful. You need to be cautious. You need to believe in what you want to believe in. You need to interpret the Bible the way you want, not the way someone else wants. You need to give the offering that you can afford, not the one that somebody is demanding that you give. And that's what we call freedom of worship. Thank you so much for being with me and sticking with me up to the end of this discussion. Next week, I'll be bringing you more. And therefore, stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel. Share this video with your friends so that they can get the similar insight that you've gained today. Thank you so much. Let's meet next Wednesday. Don't let people brainwash you. Don't let it happen.